Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Real Time, where we talk about the movies we like.
And the ones we don't.
I'm Tyler,
And I'm Molly.
and celebrating this year, its 30th anniversary, is Dreamworks Animation Studios. Now, Dreamworks was founded in 1994 by Steven Spielberg, Jeffrey Katzenberg, and David Geffen.
Very interesting. What was their first movie?
The first movie was Ants. Katzenberg had recently left Disney, and he decided he wanted to take the bug movie idea for his own. So he took that to DreamWorks, and they made Ants, which was rushed ahead of schedule so that they can come out with their bug movie before Pixar came out with their bug movie, A Bug's Life.
A Bug's Life was a lot better.
It's been a while since I've seen Ants, so I can't really say, but maybe.
I guess I shouldn't say either because it has been a while since I've seen Ants, but I do like A Bug's Life.
So we are here, like we did with our top 5 Disney movies from last year, to talk about our top 5 DreamWorks movies. Now, DreamWorks is often considered to be the lesser studio compared to Disney. The Sierra Mist to its Sprite. I don't have another analogy. You think of one, please.
The Dr. Thunder to the Dr. Pepper.
Thank you. I wanted to do something that wasn't soda, but you know what? That works too.
All I can think of is soda right now.
The chocolate cookie wafers to its Oreos.
There you go. Yeah. That's good.
But I feel like DreamWorks still has quite a bit of quality in it, and we're going to talk about some of it today.
Yes, we are.
So we're going to go ahead and list our top 5 favorite DreamWorks movies. Why don't you start us off with your number 5 pick?
All right, I will. I made this list kind of fast, so hopefully I am not mistaken. But for my number 5, I decided to go with Rise of the Guardians.
Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah, I liked that movie. I thought it was pretty fun with all the, the different holidays being represented by characters. Like, you got the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, Jack Frost, Tooth Fairy, yeah, and then Sandman. And then, the evil boogeyman guy.
Darkness.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's his actual name.
I honestly don't remember. I
It
thought
could be.
It was the boogeyman. Maybe not. It's been a while since I've watched this. But, all these characters have to work together to defeat the bad boogeyman who's making all the kids in town have nightmares. And I just think it's nice. I don't like the storyline. I think it has a strong story.
Yeah, I do too. I really like Jack Frost's storyline in this movie, where he gave his life so that his sister would live, and in turn he became sort of an entity of the holidays. And Chris Pine really gives a pretty good performance as him, and with his devil-may-care attitude and sly personality.
Yeah. I like the characters. I think their interpretations, I guess is what I'm looking for, is very interesting. Like, Santa Claus is kind of this fun, loving, tough Russian guy.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite interpretations of Santa Claus. It's not a traditional Santa, but it's a really fun one.
Yeah, I liked that as well. I thought it was pretty funny. And we got the Sandman as just this short, squat, sandy guy.
He do be Sandy. That's kind of in his name.
Yeah, so I really like all the characters of this movie, and I enjoy watching it. Whenever I get around to watching it, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, I like it. Are you ready for your number 5?
Yes, I am. My number 5 is probably, most definitely, what I think is the most underrated in all of DreamWorks' catalog. It's a movie about two guys who stumble into this ancient Mayan village made out of, entirely gold, the road to El Dorado. This is probably, in my opinion, the funniest DreamWorks movie, and I just love the chemistry between our two leads, Miguel and Tulio, played by Kevin Kline and Kenneth Branagh. They're just, it helps that they recorded together in the studio, which doesn't typically happen with animated movies, but I think it really helped with the chemistry between their characters.
Yeah, I agree with that. They have good chemistry together, and recording together I think would really help that.
It's a classic, misunderstanding movie where these two guys get mistaken for gods in the middle of this Mayan city, El Dorado, made out of pure gold. And it's not like one of those liar revealed plots where they get revealed to be fakes at the end and everyone hates them. At a certain point, the chief figures out that they aren't really gods, but by that point they brought so much goodwill and positivity to his community that he doesn't really mind.
Yeah. I like the story of this one pretty well. Sorry, I thought I had more to say, but
yeah, it's very Princess Bride-esque in its humor and its characters in a way.
Yeah, the humor is very it works well with the story. Pretty funny. And I like funny things, so.
Yeah, and this is also one of the DreamWorks movies that I watched a lot when I was a little kid. So maybe it has a bit of nostalgia working in its favor, but that's okay.
Yeah, I didn't watch this one much as a kid. I guess it's just one that I didn't really connect with for whatever reason. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh well. What is your number 4?
I chose for my number 4, How to Train Your Dragon, the first one.
Good pick.
Yeah, I remember watching it for the first time, and I really enjoyed it. I like the music. I like the storyline. I like the characters, especially, the main character of Hiccup, I think is pretty cool. Since he's this kind of weaker Viking, he's the one everyone kind of picks on. He makes the most mistakes, but yet he's the one to stand up and say, hey, maybe instead of killing dragons, we should train them and work with them.
Yeah, it's a very done plot. Like this has been done before, but it takes its tropes and does them in a new way, or if not in a new way, then a different way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's very creative, I think.
Yes, I agree. I'll have some more to say about this later on, so let's move on. If you don't have anything else to say.
Yeah, that's fine. We could talk about it more later.
My number 4 is a more recent movie from DreamWorks, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Now, full disclosure, when I saw this movie, I had not watched the first Puss in Boots movie. I just never got around to it. So I didn't really have any expectations for this one. I heard a lot of good things, but you know how it is. Sometimes you hear a lot of good things, but they aren't necessarily true all the time. But this movie pretty much fully lived up to the hype, I think.
Yeah, I saw the first Puss in Boots, so I was kind of I was aware of the Puss in Boots characters, which there's only one returning character, so you're not missing out on much.
Yeah, you really don't need to watch the first one to enjoy this one. Which I found out after I did watch the first one which is pretty all right. It's nothing spectacular, but it's fun enough.
Yeah, I liked the first one, but I do think this one is it raises the bar.
Yeah, it's a lot more character driven. It's a lot more emotionally driven. We have plenty more moments where you actually start to feel the intensity of the emotions like the characters do, and it's just spectacular.
Yeah. Especially the style. It's in like, I guess Dreamworks is trying to do maybe some more creative choices. So the style it's in is really cool.
Yeah. DreamWorks just announced a date for Shrek 5 coming in 2026, and part of me kind of hopes that they use this style in that one.
I don't know. I can see it being an interesting and new thing to do, but it's like I've already seen Shrek so much in his regular CGI style. I don't know.
Well, whether or not they do carry on this style for Shrek 5, I definitely hope that Puss, Kitty, and Perito appear in Shrek 5. The ending sting of this movie suggested that they will.
Yeah, I'm counting on them to be there. I hope.
And with the exception of one particular movie, which I will be getting to very soon, this is the best movie in the Shrek franchise by far.
I don't know. I think I have something to say about that.
I said with the exception of one.
I'd say with the exception of 2.
Okay.
I think I like Shrek 1 and 2 more than this one.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right, now let's get to your number 3.
My number 3 is also Puss in Boots and the Last Wish. So
Well, that'll make editing a lot easier for me then.
yeah, I liked it. We saw it in a theater, and I don't think it was any special occasion or.
It was my birthday.
Oh, it was your birthday.
So yeah, you're right. It wasn't really a special occasion.
No, that's special. But yeah, I remember just having a good time, and the theater was pretty packed, if I remember, and everyone seemed to be having a good time watching the movie.
Yeah, aside from, like we said, the emotion and the character moments, it's also just really funny, like unexpectedly so.
Yeah, there was a lot of parts that had us laughing, and a lot of good jokes that were pretty funny.
And not to mention Big Jack Horner. Oh my God, there's no reason why that character design should be designed like that. It's just too funny to be taken seriously, but it works.
He is a really funny villain. I really enjoyed having him on screen.
Yeah, he's funny for the most part, but occasionally he can be threatening. So,
yeah, he's funny, but you take him seriously because he's a powerful guy.
and that's not even getting into the other fantastic villains like Goldilocks and the Three Bears and Death. Honestly, this movie might have the best DreamWorks villain of all time in Death. I'm still between a few, but he is definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, he could be pretty scary.
And think, this guy only has really 3 scenes where he has any sort of dialogue.
Yeah, he doesn't really have a lot of screen time, but he's a very threatening presence.
Yes, he is. I feel like we've spoken enough on this without giving it its own full-length review, which I want to do at some point.
Oh, I thought we already have talked about it.
No, we did Shrek and Shrek 2.
Oh. Oh, well, maybe one of these days.
Maybe. But yeah, I'll move on to my number 3 then.
Yep. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Shrek 2.
Ah, yes. Shrek 2.
Now, Shrek 2, like we talked about in our best sequels video, is one of the best sequels there is. And one of the best animated ones, though not my favorite, like I said. It's still definitely one that's worthy of your time.
Yeah, definitely. As I will talk more about later.
Yeah. So I'll keep mine short so you can give your piece then.
All right, sounds good.
Shrek 2, it takes the characters that we met in the first Shrek and brings them to their next logical step. What are Shrek and Fiona going to do after they get married? Is this really a marriage that's going to last? We sure hope so.
I sure hope so.
And we get to see just what Shrek is willing to do for Fiona and it's pretty nice.
Yeah, I agree.
Add on some terrific animation and one of the greatest song covers of all time with Fairy Godmother's rendition of Holding Out for a Hero, and you have a spectacular Shrek movie.
Yeah, it is very enjoyable to watch.
Let's move on to your number 2 then.
All right, for my number 2, I chose Kung Fu Panda. I really like this movie. I love the character of Po. He's so goofy. Jack Black always plays goofy characters well. He's a very lovable character. And I like that he starts out as just an adopted panda. He was adopted by a noodle chef duck. And he grows into being, the big dragon warrior.
Yes, he does. Poe is a very well. There's the old saying: some are born with power, some have power, and somehow power thrusts upon them. Poe is a pretty apt caricature of that last aspect of that saying.
Yeah, he is. He's so funny. I feel like, yeah, I can relate to Poe in a few ways. Just being the silly little clumsy goober, yeah, who likes to eat. So I think eating was his motivation to finally learn kung fu.
Well, that's how Shifu finally figured out how to train him.
Yeah. That'd work on me.
Yeah, the animation in this one is also pretty fantastic too, especially when Tai Lung's breaking out of prison.
Yeah, and there's some pretty good choreography with the characters.
Yeah, and this movie takes advantage of its medium in a lot of ways. Since it's animation, they like I said, they're fully taking advantage of just the cinematography and what they're able to do with the characters that you can't do with the live action movie.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yes, it is. So, do you have anything more to say on this?
No. I like Kung Fu Panda, the first one, more than the others. I think you liked the second one more.
Yeah, I did like the second one more.
I'm a fan of the first.
No, it's good. I just prefer the second one.
Yeah.
The third one, at the bottom. I haven't seen 4 yet. I've heard it's not as good, but maybe it's okay.
We'll have to watch it sometime.
Yeah. So my number 2 is How to Train Your Dragon. This movie resonates with me a little bit because I identify with Hiccup, always being the guy who disappoints his dad and all that, and just trying to live up to expectations, but not really living up to what maybe my dad wants from me, but figuring out something to do on my own and making him proud regardless.
Yeah, he is kind of the odd one out, but he uses that to his advantage and becomes someone that everyone respects.
Yeah, and I really liked the music, the animation, the story, the character moments between these. We get a lot of really organic and natural friendship building between Hiccup and Toothless. It's really fun to see them grow together and learn to trust each other throughout the movie.
Yeah, Toothless is really cute. And like you said, the music, I really like the music. I think I have one of the main themes on my crochet playlist. That's where I have all my favorite, instrumental music. So it's made that list. But yeah, it's really good. As you can tell, I already kind of talked about it earlier.
Now, before we get into our number ones, do you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah. I guess so. One of them I thought about putting on my list, but it's probably your number one. So I won't say it. I'll leave it for a surprise. Let's see, what else is there? I like Madagascar. I remember enjoying that as a kid. I didn't make an honorable mention list, so
You're just going off the top.
yeah, I'm just kind of thinking out loud.
Well, that's all right. I'll do mine then. Consider my honorable mentions the 10 through 6.
Okay.
We have How to Train Your Dragon 2, a fun sequel, but definitely the lesser of the 3 movies we've had.
Yeah.
Rise of the Guardians, like you said, a very fun movie, just didn't quite make the cut.
Yeah.
How to Train Your Dragon 3, an excellent capper on this trilogy and an end to the emotional arc that's been building between Toothless and Hiccup.
Mm-hmm.
Kung Fu Panda 2, an excellent sequel that builds on what we already established with Po from the original and takes him and his character arc to a new emotional highs.
Yep. Good movie.
And Megamind, a clever satire of the superhero genre that is just a lot of fun. Let's be honest. Let's take off the academic glasses and it's just a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
I've heard the sequel is kind of crap, so I'm just not going to bother with that because it looks like absolute dog water and booty butt cheeks.
Yeah. I also thought of Shrek. Shrek isn't on my list, and I love Shrek.
Shrek is love. Shrek is life.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of any others, but I don't know. We'll be here all day.
Boss Baby.
I've never seen that.
Shark Tale.
Oh, that's been a long time.
B Movie.
That's also been a long time.
Turbo.
I haven't seen it.
B Movie's your number one, isn't it?
Maybe. No.
All right, let's get to our number ones. Now, I can probably guess what your number one is, but how about you explain anyways?
You probably can if you saw our favorite sequel video.
Depending on when these are coming out, because honestly, at the moment, we're recording some stuff in bulk so that we can have stuff to upload while Molly is on maternity leave.
Yeah. So, if sequels comes out before, you'll know. But my favorite DreamWorks movie is Shrek 2. Who doesn't love Shrek 2?
Probably Bill Clinton.
I don't know. Anyways, it's I think it's hilarious. The comedy and the humor in the Shrek movies, especially 1 and 2, are fantastic, right up my alley. I like the characters of this movie. I like that it does a really good job expanding on the Shrek universe. We see these characters in Shrek 1 and their lives are expanded on during this one, which is what a good sequel should have. I like the relationship that's shown between Shrek and Fiona. We have 2 people, well, 2 ogres, I guess, who share this, we see their early married life, and they, I think DreamWorks does a good job with representing, a healthy marriage.
Yeah, we also talked about Shrek and Fiona in our top 5 favorite couples video, which I'm sure we did earlier this year.
I think so. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, they're a good couple.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, and in this one we see Shrek. He shows that he is willing to do anything to stay with Fiona and to make Fiona happy. But you know what? She's just happy being an ogre in a swamp with the guy she loves, which is very sweet. And the characters, Donkey's probably still my favorite character, but Puss in Boots is introduced in this one, and he's great.
As we see from his spin-off and sequel to a spin-off.
Yeah, he's great. But yeah, all the characters in this one are very entertaining. Even the bad guy's entertaining. It's just fun. It's such a fun movie. I could probably put it on at any moment and watch it all with no problem.
Yeah, I've seen her do it. I came home one day and she told me she was on our 18th viewing of Shrek 2 that day.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Some days you just need Shrek 2 multiple times.
Now, do you have anything more to say on your favorite DreamWorks movie?
No, I don't think so. I've talked about it a lot throughout this channel.
All right, so my favorite DreamWorks movie and a possible contender for my favorite animated movie of all time is, well, let's be honest, this one is an absolute masterpiece. It is beautiful. It is emotional. It is, I'll say it, it's art, okay? And it's based off of one of my favorite biblical stories of all time. It's The Prince of Egypt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely would have put this one on my list somewhere, but I knew it was going to be your number one, and I was like, well, I don't want us to have too many similar ones, so I let you take this one.
Thanks, homie.
You're welcome.
What can I say about The Prince of Egypt that hasn't been said? Not much, so I'm going to say it all anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of the oldest and very famous stories of all time.
The Prince of Egypt takes the story of two brothers who just grew apart. They go separate ways in their lives, and they find that they're not really compatible with who they are, with who they used to be anymore.
Yeah, that's what happens when you grow up.
And in the midst of all this, they're also put into conflict by higher forces than they realized. Moses, by the power of God himself, telling him to free the Israelites, and Ramesses trying to live up to the legacy that his father set for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lots of emotional moments in this movie.
Yeah, this is honestly a tragic example also of DreamWorks peaking way too early, because this was their second movie of all time, and having this basically right out of the gate is, well, it's unfortunate because everything else just hasn't measured up, in my opinion.
Besides Shrek 2. You guys should have seen the look he gave me.
The emotional moments between not just Moses and Ramesses, but Moses and his siblings that he didn't know he had, Moses and his adoptive parents, Ramesses and his son, they all come through in the most natural and really heartfelt way possible when it comes time for it.
Yeah, this is a very excellent story. A great example of really good storytelling and characterization. All the stuff that it takes to make a good story.
The filmmakers were so committed to making the best movie they could that they consulted religious leaders from Christianity, Judaism, and Islam to make sure that everything was, well, for lack of a better word, kosher.
Yeah. Yeah, that shows dedication.
Because Moses isn't just an important figure to us in Christianity, but he's also important to Judaism and Islam as an important figure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, pretty important to get it right.
And aside from some creative liberties that they took in order to make the drama and the story more appealing, I guess, there's very little you could say that they got wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is very accurate from what I remember, and entertaining as well.
Yeah, it's entertaining because, one, you like these characters, you don't want anything bad to happen to them, and it's just fun. We have a whole bunch of really good songs that I'm perfectly willing to listen to on a daily basis.
Yeah, I love the music in this movie. The songs are so catchy. They'll be in my head after I watch this movie. They're so powerful too.
It gets to the point where even the weakest song in the movie, Playing with the Big Boys Now, would still be probably the best song in any other animated musical.
Yeah, probably. I like that big song they sing whenever the plagues are coming through.
It was called The Plagues.
Oh, yeah. That one's my favorite.
It's too hard to decide which one. I just love all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's all I can say. Just, yeah.
And I know I said that Death is probably my favorite DreamWorks villain, and yeah, he probably is, but Ramesses, man, he is one of the most tragic and one of the most understandable villains in all of DreamWorks' filmography. He's you get where he's coming from when he's trying to live up to the legacy that his father set for him. He doesn't feel like he could do it, but he knows he has to try. And we see from historical context that Ramesses did, in fact, live up to his father's legacy. So that's nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then it is kind of tragic because you see everything he built tumbled to the ground.
But yeah, that is why The Prince of Egypt is my favorite DreamWorks movie. And if we get to doing top 5 or even top 10 favorite animated movies, it is definitely going to make an appearance there. If not at number 1, then definitely close to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can believe that for your list, yeah.
So that is our list for our favorite DreamWorks movies. I feel like, very maligned studio that doesn't quite get the respect it deserves sometimes, but I feel like it has produced quite a bit of good content.
Yeah, it does have good movies. There are good movies in DreamWorks filmography. Yeah, one of my favorite animated movies of all time, Shrek 2. I mean, who hasn't heard of Shrek?
Don't know, man.
Mm-hmm. And their movies coming out look good. The Wild Robot. I have not read the children's book, but it looks adorable.
Yeah, I was about to look at DreamWorks, like what they have next.
Yeah, I think that comes out in September this year.
Yeah, we just saw Inside Out 2, and we got a trailer for The Wild Robot, and it looks really interesting. It's made by the same guys as How to Train Your Dragon, and the animation style looks very similar to Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, so I'm there.
Yeah. I'll have to find... I have that book written down on, like, a list of books I want to buy for my daughter at some point. So I'll have to get the book and read it.
Another adaptation of a book series is also on the schedule for DreamWorks. Dogman, based on the superhero book series by Dave Pilkey.
I haven't read those, but whenever I substitute as the librarian at school, those kids, yeah, that one's popular.
Well, that just goes to show that Dave Pilkey's work has been popular for decades.
Oh, yeah, it was popular when I was little.
Orion in the Dark, to be distributed by Netflix, also based on a book series. The Bad Guys 2, I haven't seen The Bad Guys, so I don't know anything about that. Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, don't know anything about that. And Shrek 5.
Of course, Shrek 5, ready for that one.
I hope Shrek 5 lives up to the legacy that it's had, because honestly, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish raised the bar way too high, and I'm kind of afraid that it's not going to make that. But maybe that's for the best. We can't expect every movie to be The Last Wish.
Or maybe DreamWorks will surprise us.
Maybe it'll be even worse than Shrek 3. Let's hope not.
It's going to be good. I mean, it can't be as good as Shrek 2, but we'll have faith that it's good.
Have some faith. Mm-hmm. Dutch Vanderland, 1899.
Yep, exactly.
So that will do it for us for DreamWorks. Unless you have anything more to say on this studio?
I don't think so.
Me neither. So we'll catch you next time.
See you next time.